This is my notes from chapters 12 to 31. Um, Chapter 12, Jim is growing up, and to Scout's disappointment, he is not willing to play with her anymore while Atticus is away. Caparina takes the kids to church. They meet a study from one person. Lula is the majority of welcome. Scout attends the service with interest and notices many similarities with their own church. A collection is made in the church for Helen Robinson and her children. Cameron tells Scout that Tom Robinson is accused of raping Mayella Ewell. Then Aunt Alexandria arrives to the book and she starts coming in. Chapter 13, Aunt Alexandria comes to stay indefinitely because she feels like the children is need of an influence during the crucial years of growing up. She's obsessed with them and fits well with them and the neighbors, but actually she does not get along with the children because she demands different standards of behavior from what they're used to. Atticus is torn between being courteous with his sister and raising Jem and Scout as he sees fit. After one attempt to try and impose his sister's standards on the children, he gives up. So he doesn't try after that. Chapter 14, having Aunt Alexandria living in the Finch family requires some adjustments, but Atticus has to refuse his sister's request to get rid of Cabrina. Atticus has high regard for their cook and his sister's job, but does not change that. Scout dislikes Jem's new maturity and does not try to talk with her as he goes, where it all fights him with her fists, sends her to her room as a punishment. Scout is amazed to find Dill hiding under her bed. Jim knows that he has left childhood behind when he decides to tell Atticus of Dill's presence. Chapter 15, Dill is allowed to stay. Scout fails to see the significance of these. First, Hecate, the sheriff, and some of Atticus's advise him to give up on Tom Robinson. They are worried of a possibility that Tom's going to be lynched, and Atticus tells him no. That's basically what chapter 16. It is not until they reach home that Scout understands that the full danger and potential violence of the evening. Atticus tries to explain how people change when they are part of a mob. So men like Mr. Cunningham, who are usually friendly, can become a threat. The next day, all the people in Macomb County attend the trial, acting as if they were going to a carnival rather than to see a man on the trial for his life. Disobeying Atticus, the children go to the courtroom and find seats on the balcony. Chapter 17, Mr. Tate testifies that on being summoned by Mr. Ewell, he found Mayella with injuries mainly to the right side of her face. Mr. Tate also verifies that no doctor was called. Jim understands that left-handed person would be likely to cause injuries to the right side of the face rather than the left. Tom Robinson being crippled in the left arm would have found it extremely difficult to hurt Mayella. Chapter 18, Mayella Ewell testifies. A picture emerges of her impoverished life. Mr. Ewell spends relief money on one drink, and she and the children have to cut up the old trees for the shoes in winter. Mayella is angry with Atticus because she feels like she is humiliated in front of everyone because of a picture. Mayella says that after doing a job for her, Tom Robinson followed her to the house, raped her, and Atticus thinks that she's lying. Chapter 19, Tom Robinson testifies that he has often did jobs for Mayella. On a particular occasion, she asked him into the house and then made advances to him. When Bobby Ewell saw Mayella through the window, Tom became frightened and ran away. Chapter 20, outside the court, Dylan Scout talked to Mr. Raymond. He reveals the secret of his drink bag and explains that he breaks the rules except breaks through because it's easier for him and other people. And Atticus explains why Mayella might have framed Tom Robinson. He pleads to the jury to weigh the evidence. Chapter 21. Capiella arrives to say that the children are missing from home. The children's presence in the court is noticed, and they are sent back home. Atticus relents and allows them back after supper to hear the verdict. Jim is outraged at the verdict and does not attempt to shield him and his newfound justice to the Macomb people. The next day, then the African Americans send gifts to show their appreciation of Atticus, and he is happy. Chapter 23. Atticus explains to Jim that there can be no fairer system of justice until the people's basic prejudices change, and that will not happen quickly. Addison reveals that it was Cunningham who injured the jury, that caused the jury to take longer in making up its mind, because Cunningham wanted Tom to be acquitted. Chapter 24. Alexander holds a missionary tea, and the ladies of Macomb attend. They reveal their what they thought about the black people. Atticus relates the events surrounding Tom's death in matter of fact, which conveys little emotion. No clue to his feelings is commented, that Tom had 17 bullet holes in him, and that they didn't have to shoot him that much. Chapter 25. Jim and Dill go with Atticus to break the news of Tom's death to his wife. Tom's death is accepted in Macomb without surprise. The people remain unremoved by a highly crucial editor in the local newspaper. Chapter 26. Jim and Scout start back up to the school, and they're not scared of the Riley house anymore. Atticus gets reelected at school. At school, Scout's teachers is talking about equality, and Scout came home confused why Miss Gates talked about being equal at the courthouse when she was glad someone taught them blacks a lesson. Chapter 27. Chapter 27 is... Hold on, let me flip my papers. Bob Ewell loses his job and blames Atticus for getting his job taken. Bob starts to have a grudge against anyone in the case by following and tampering. The Halloween town puts on a play at school which has to avoid what happened to the elderly sisters when they are bulgarized. And then Tom Robinson's wife Helen is harassed on the way to work by Bobby Will until Link Deeds makes him stop. Aunt Alexandria senses that Bob Ewell has not yet finally got his revenge, and she fears the safety of their family. Jim and Scout prepare for the Halloween pageant. Chapter 28. The children go to the Halloween pageant alone. On the way, they are attacked by Bob Ewell, who tries to kill them. Jim is barely hurt. Scout is aware of the presence of the fourth person, who saves them and takes them home. On arrival, Atticus summons the doctor, who announces that Jim has a broken elbow. The sheriff arrives with the news that Bob Ewell has been found dead. Chapter 29. Scout tells Hecate what happened during the attack. Atticus misjudged Bob Ewell's revenge. He does not imagine that Ewell would go to these lengths for revenge and save them with Bradley. Atticus, in chapter 30, Atticus mistakenly believes that Hecate is protecting Jim by insisting that Bobby will fall on his knife. Chapter 31, at the Boo's request, escorts him to the sleeping gym and then home. While thinking of Boo, she is reminded of their childish selfishness. They receive gifts from him, but gave him nothing in return. And recall events to the tears. She is aware of the greater maturity and how far she has been to stand in Boo's shoes. That's it.